Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
I'm Shaq.
I'm Chris. And this is...
Let me tell you.
So, we got this in from one of our people that answered the questionnaire, and it
was completely anonymous.
How to tell your partner that you have an STD.
Hello. Oh, somebody is awake now.
For your question.
They can get the I feel like they can get the medical staff or nurse to tell somebody make that phone call.
Oh, listen, we do have a nurse. We have a nurse at this table.
I never even thought about that actually.
I guess you could.
Let's make a distinction right now because when a person asked this question, me and Christina was talking, and I was like, "Hey, it's not called STD anymore; it's called STI." And actually, they use it interchangeably. But I want to let all our listeners know the difference between the STD and the STI. STD is a sexually transmitted disease, and a STI is a sexually transmitted infection. The reason why they're called STIs now and not STDs is because an infection can live in the body for a long time and never turn into a disease. So when we think about HIV, we know that we have HIV and AIDS. So HIV would be the infection, AIDS would be the disease. So you can have chlamydia, gonorrhea is in your body, is an infection, but it's not a disease. So I asked Christina,
gonorrhea and chlamydia are curable. HIV, I mean, they're working on it, and herpes are not right now.
And warts is not curable either. This is the thing, though, because you can have an STI be in your body for so long, something like chlamydia can also present like a yeast infection. You can have smell, you can have thick cottage cheese stuff coming out. Chlamydia be in the body for a while, but it also presents itself as smell, but the discharge from a woman will be kind of yellowish, cottage cheese is tight look and feel. So I asked Chris, well, how do we even know it's a STI? This person who suggested the question could actually have a urinary tract infection and think, oh, I have a urinary tract infection, it had to come through sex, or I have a yeast infection and maybe I got it from sex.
A yeast infection.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We don't know because the person didn't say. The person didn't say, so it's like, okay, we got to talk about how some of these things present because what did you say they need to go where first? To their medical.
Please go to your medical professional and get a proper diagnosis on what you actually have. Because if you getting all up in yourself because you think you got STD when you got a yeast infection.
WebMD is not your medical professional. WebMD is not your
Yes, please do not go to WebMD.
WebMD.
Do not Google it.
Do not take a picture of your parts and then compare it to pictures online.
You're going to think you have cancer if you Google it.
That's true.
Everything leads
to cancer.
So my first thing is when I heard that, I was like, you know what? I needed some questions answered first. I was like, okay, did you get this STD or STI before or after your current relationship? Because I think that's important.
I think so too.
Those are questions they ask in the medical field.
And then I would be like, do you plan on continuing a relationship with the person you got the STI from, or are you going to leave your current relationship to go to the other person? Because I think if I get these answers...
Wait. Well, why couldn't it be a third option here?
No, there's more. I got a whole bunch of questions.
They both could have cheated, and neither one of them know who gave it to them.
Are we even talking about that?
I mean,
and then
if they're afraid to tell their partner about it, maybe probably I would assume it could.
Right. They might have been the person who cheated, and so they're scared to tell the partner because they don't want the partner to leave. Or that has to be the issue, because why would you not want to talk to your partner?
Actually, I'm gonna give you an answer for that. Especially if they're young girls, they don't know.
I see.
They don't know. They're like, oh, something is happening in my body, and I think I got it from having sex. But they only had sex with the one person, so some of them really don't know like how they can get these things. They're just out there having sex.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, and they just don't know.
They don't know.
And then another question I had was it from sexual assault?
But the question is, how do you tell your partner if you have it, right?
Well, we had
Yes.
to like come up with these other things first. Like, how do we even get there? We don't have the background
if
story.
it's from, let's say, they said they got raped, they got STD, and they're not sure how to tell their partner they have STD. Well,
had
first
to tell
things
them.
first. Would be like,
Did you
or
report
I think my thing was if I knew exactly how it came about, like if it was from a previous partner before you started dating this guy or girl or whatever, or was it from, it kind of frames how I would word how it would be.
The reason I asked the question
Yeah.
is because if you get chlamydia or anything like that and you have a partner, if you got it from another partner and you're with someone else, that's a conversation in and of itself. However, if you got like chlamydia or one of those that are curable, don't go get another partner until you cure that thing. Like, don't go get another partner. Now, if you have,
Yeah,
so
take
I
those
know,
meds.
But you
like,
still have
if-
to tell that partner so they can go get treated.
well, no. If I'm talking about if you had it and there's a lapse between partners, like I'm not saying if you're dealing with if you're dealing with other people and you have it, yes, let them know, and we'll talk about how to let them know. But like, let's say if you cheat, like when you're in a relationship and you get chlamydia, the curable ones, and if there's not a lapse, then you have to figure out how to tell your partner. But with like AIDS or herpes or those things, like I have friends who have herpes, and yes, you're not always going to get it, but there's a high chance that you will get it. And they have dating sites for people with herpes. They have dating sites for people with HIV and all of those things that you can date. And if you're afraid to get out in the dating world, I feel like honesty is the best policy, but I know that that's not always easy.
Yeah.
So
How about texting your partner before you go start having sex?
That's true.
How about for all my young ladies out there who may be 20, 21, maybe even 18 that's listening to this podcast? If you did not know, now you know because you heard it from here first. Men can give you chlamydia and gonorrhea.
Yeah.
You don't always give it to them. If they have multiple partners and they're not using protection, they can give it to you, boo.
And the women also have late signs of the signs come later. So you won't know right away. You're not going to have like automatic symptoms of what's going on with your body. So you should just get checked. Just, do your regular checkups at your doctor, and they can,
Yeah, so adding to that fact, men do know way before women that they have an infection because their external organs are just that, they're external, and women's are internal, and so that's why an infection can live longer in a woman's body than it can outside of a man's body. So if you got it and he gave it to you, he knew, boo.
He sure did. It's exposed.
Let me tell you, he knew.
So now let's get into the question of how do you tell your partner though? Like what the question was, how do I tell my partner?
Okay, so let me ask this one question before we get into telling. What if this is a new partner and you this is something uncurable?
That's what I'm saying. That's what we need to know how to tell them.
And this is somebody you're into, they're into you. So it's when do you tell them? And how do you tell them? Because it's not
Why
just
didn't you tell them
them
in the first place?
I was gonna say, if you know,
if you didn't think
if you know
going too far, if I didn't think this relationship was going too far.
So you're saying before they even had sex, or after you had sex, and now I'm like, oh
Well,
shit.
see, we don't know none of those
tell them.
details, right? So that's what I'm saying. But what if it is that situation? I think we need to speak to that too, because if let's say you meet somebody new, y'all dated for some time, but now it's gotten to the intimate space where you're willing to cross.
Okay, that's what I thought.
First of all, I just want to put it out there that if you have sex with someone, let's say you have something that's like AIDS or HIV, and you don't tell them, I believe in certain places you can get charged
You can.
with a crime. So
Yes, you can.
You need to let them know before you involve yourself in intercourse. Now, if you like them and you're engaging in conversation, you guys are getting to know each other. I think that's what you were saying. Like that can be hard to know when to bring it up before sexual contact. Now, if there's going to be sexual contact, you better let them know.
Hey, let me tell you. You can be charged with a crime if you have HIV or AIDS and you sleep with a partner and you do not divulge that information.
Also herpes.
And let me also tell you that people who find out that are not in their right state of mind that you gave them that could be very dangerous for you. And so you want to avoid that at all costs and let your potential partner or partner know what your history or medical medical issues are up front.
And don't rely just on condoms. People say, "Oh, I'll just wrap it up." They don't need to know, because you can still transmit herpes even with the condom, and it's not always foolproof. So you need to let them know.
And regardless if you have an outbreak at the moment or not having an outbreak, it is still able to pass that stuff on to somebody else. Because I know people who don't have outbreaks and they haven't had an outbreak in years. I'm like, that doesn't change the fact that you have it.
Let me ask this question. Is text messaging the best way to let someone know?
No.
And not if you're going to want to do something.
Probably if
with
you
them.
feel like you're not going to try to meet them after.
Yeah, like if you're
She said, well, if you're never going to talk to them again, just shoot them a quick text message and just call it a day. Whatever.
Hey, well, just let
You know now.
Happy. I don't know if thumbs
they're
up
bound to,
emoji,
yes.
happy smile emoji.
And then,
Hey, let me tell you.
No,
by
go
the
to the
way,
doctor.
I have herpes.
No.
Smile emoji.
Go to the doctor.
They
Get
say
your test written out. Take a picture of it. Send them the picture. Be
and then you go, you're going to say something else.
with the shoulders up emoji. Like, sorry.
I don't know.
Hey,
Sorry.
that's one way to do it if you never want to speak to this person again.
Yes.
Because I'm assuming that after they get that text message, your phone's about to be blowing up.
Oh yeah.
And then you
And if they know where you live, they might want to stop by as well.
And then you move and you leave town.
So yeah. So I mean, but that is one way to do it. It's one way.
It's one
Maybe
way.
not the best way, but it's a way.
Now I told Chris that you should make the phone call. I felt like if you're with a person that you know is prone to violence or extreme anger, a phone call might be much better than being in person.
I don't tell them.
I would even say a phone call, in addition to what Dawn or Toffee said about taking a snapshot about the results from the doctor's office, so
Yeah.
that they can know that you're not just. I mean, I don't see who would ever play around like that.
Well,
but-
if it's a reportable disease or infection, you can have the nurse or someone from the medical facility contact your partner and let them know as well.
I think that's a great idea.
Thank you, Nurse
Good
Dawn.
idea.
It was in the text.
Have the
Textbook.
nurse or the doctor reach out to your
Textbook
partner
said
to
it.
let them know, and then they can ask the nurse or the doctor questions about what they need to do,
Yeah.
and they would get appropriate information to
Yes.
move forward.
That's
But
good.
one
Great
thing I think
fact.
nobody is considering, they say, well, unfortunately, in this day and age, ladies are not dealing with just one partner sometimes. So they may not know which partner to reach out to.
That's why they
That's
Have
why
your
you gotta
list
give
of
them all
phone
that.
numbers ready for
That
the
is part of
nurse.
the questionnaire when they ask.
But when you have your one night stands and you don't know that name, how you going to contact that person?
Well, they don't need to know.
I'm sorry.
If it's a one night stand, then you just can't contact them. But if you have that one night stand's number,
That's true. You should reach
Usually you have something. You have a social media. You have.
Now it's easy to
Something
find
like
people.
that.
I mean, how do you get this one night stand?
Nowadays, you can find people on social
Like at the
media.
club or something,
Everybody got one
and then
social
you don't
media.
have no name, no left.
Somebody got
Okay.
social media.
I'm sorry. Man, I just don't know.
Easy, even if it's the old
She
one.
said a Greyhound bus.
I don't know if it's a Greyhound. What? Greyhound?
The train station.
I'm sorry, y'all don't know nothing about that.
I'm just saying, you just never know.
So how would you start the conversation? How would you start to let your partner know, hey, I got this thing going on?
I'm gonna let that doctor go.
I'm like, do you love me?
Okay. Okay.
No? Okay. Well,
Well,
If they say no,
let
then
me
it's like,
tell
well,
you.
guess what? You're burning. You're gonna burn. You're gonna burn.
we're burning together.
and then he'll be like, I already got my something checked out, boo. I already got my meds. I gave that to you. That came from LaQuisha. What's that movie? What's that movie? What's that movie?
Oh, but why did I get married?
Yeah, why did I get married? When he was like, when he was trying to tell her that he got it and she already
Like,
had
he's
it.
like, you got it from me. Marcus.
No, she said you got it from Thomas.
Oh, yeah, Walter. Yeah,
Walter.
Gave it to me.
He was like, I didn't give it no man. No, you didn't. I did. I was like, that is.
Well, if you have an even
That was
kilter
messed
guy, if you have an even kilter guy, would you let the doctor tell him or would you tell him yourself?
Even who?
Like if there's love involved,
if you have an even kilter, like a guy
Like a
who's
guy who-
pretty calm,
even
who you
I'm
can
like,
talk
who's
to,
killing?
like do you let them call him while you're there at the nurse's state office, or do you go home,
sorry,
cook
it
a
was
meal?
me.
You set up the ambiance of the
Whoa,
night
whoa,
to
whoa.
let them know.
Wait a minute. 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 Wait a minute.
Dating?
Wait a minute. Did you just say? I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Did you just say set up the ambiance to let them know that you have a sexually transmitted infection? You got the candles lit. You got the bed made up with the
Steak and potatoes,
Dude, you
baby.
got a sexually transmitted infection. This
You
ain't
know that
no.
if
He
you're with
could have
someone, that
given it to
means you
me.
dated.
He could have given it to
Not
me.
necessarily.
If I know that I haven't been having sex with anybody else and I don't know how I got it, then I'm gonna I'm just thinking about my young girls who I talked to,
Okay,
who I
so-
had to say, baby, that it didn't come from you, it came from him.
But then
Right.
if he gave it to you, you're not gonna want to set an ambiance. You're gonna be mad.
I mean, as a woman,
I
I
wanna
know
bring
that,
a
but for all our
ambiance.
young people who don't know, you're
Oh, if you got
Bring
it,
my brother, my cousin, my
listen. But that changed the whole dynamic because if I get an STI or STD, and I know I'm not doing anything, and I'm with somebody,
we about to go
ain't
down.
no quiet. Call him and be like, listen, Negro, listen, individual. I'm not an STI. I'm burning. What have you been doing?
Why am I
like
burning?
I'm
I
gonna
don't
be
know if I would start
confrontational.
there first.
Oh, I would.
I think my approach would be, so who were you with last week? Which one
Some.
who was I with?
Some.
You were with somebody because I came from the doctor and this is what they told me I got.
Exactly.
So I got it from you. So
Some.
who or how many?
But the point is, there's gonna be. But the point is, there's gonna be a confrontation. I'm not gonna skate around that one because it's not my fault.
I think that's the key, right? It's going to be a confrontation, ladies and gentlemen.
No matter what.
No matter what, it's going to be a
whose fault.
confrontation.
Especially if I came in the picture clean, and I'm like,
Yes.
word.
You
Now, if you're cheating, you have a double whammy because now you have to explain to your partner that you were cheating
Yes.
and you have an STI.
That's when you say, "Do you love me?"
And you set the ambiance. I know we must both have it, so it must not matter.
We're this
Or I got some extra medication for you.
They're like, yes, give me. Oh, that's a good one. You go get your prescription filled, and you just hand them the prescription in a little package gift. Here you go, baby.
He probably gonna think you got a birth. You know, one of them. You tell you pregnant, not pregnant. One of them little sticks in there, thinking but you got some meds for the
Take this,
STI.
You know, around COVID time,
Take
not
your
that COVID's
vitamin,
anything to play with, but like that was the thing of when people were dealing with each other. It was like, even though COVID is not an STI or STD, that was something that was like, oh, you gave me COVID. Like, it was a big thing. So people were like, yeah, that was funny.
I'm assuming this question is the person received something and they have to tell the person. So I'm assuming this person is the person who is the
Victim.
person
Person who did
whoever did something or needs to tell somebody. So they're the person that has to be the honest one.
yeah.
Either way,
But
you have to be.
clean.
The point is, you got to be honest. You just
Yeah.
have to be honest. There's no perfect time. You don't tell them they get right off home from work. You might not want to do that. You might want to wait till they sauced up or something there and tell them.
Time to come in, set the ambiance.
But or have them in a
shower.
Take a shot.
or have a nice good meal for them when they come home, and then tell the truth.
See?
You just
Set
have to
the
tell the
ambiance.
truth.
Take some tea. Drink some tea.
Set the
chamomile,
ambiance.
Or do it in the morning for
Get
breakfast.
some tea.
Aromatherapy.
I like that. Do you love me? Do you love me?
Massage them a little bit. Hey, babe, I was at the doctor today.
It's like we really need to talk about.
So you know what? Just to round off everything that we gave for suggestions for this question, I'm just going to read it again for those who might be listening a little bit later. How to tell your partner you have an STD. So one of the first things that we've all stated was that you have to be honest. Yes, you do definitely have to tell the person so that they get themselves checked out. One of the things that was mentioned that you could take a picture of your diagnosis or whatever and text it to them. This is for someone that you probably don't really intend on talking too much afterwards. But Dawn, she also gave us a great option. She said that if you go to the doctor and they will call your partner
If it's
or
reportable
partners
disease.
if it's a
Reportable
disease like
infection,
AIDS or
gonorrhea,
or syphilis. So you can
chlamydia.
actually have the medical professional reach out to your partner or partners to let them know, and then they can ask that person questions or all that stuff. They can do it that way. Another way Shakura mentioned was doing it over the phone. And then maybe following that up with a text message of the diagnosis, so they know exactly what you're dealing with. And that's for those who might have a lot of anxiety about doing it in person.
Yeah.
People who might have partners that might not be as understanding as others. So that might be a good thing for you.
Especially if you burn them.
But if you believe that maybe the other person might have some involvement in this, some people we did have some offers as far as doing it in person. Creating an environment, I would say a mood. Or what did you say?
The ambiance. The ambiance.
Where you can have a conversation with the individual, letting them know,
But if you do it in person, do not do it within a 3-foot proximity because you don't want to get choked.
Especially if you know you're dealing with a person
Do it
that's
by the
prone to
door.
violence, you want to make sure that you're in a safe zone.
Be in the hallway.
But also remember, adding to what Christina is saying, is that you can't, for all my young girls out there, even some older women who may not know, that men can give you some of these STIs. They don't only come from you, especially if you know you haven't been with anybody before, and all of a sudden that hey, something is happening in my body, and that's kind of weird. And sometimes women, we think it's us. I don't know why we always go to us. We think it's us. Oh, it's my body. I did this to him. No, boo boo. He did it to you.
I don't think that.
I don't think
No,
that.
but I feel like
never
we're
think
older
it's
now. But when we
Even when I was younger, you dirty.
do not be messing with people
Let me
who
not
are
I'm clean.
Not dirty in that
I
way.
get
but
what
I
you're
feel like,
saying, but I'm like, hold up.
Also, women who mess with, we have some listeners that might have same-sex partners, and women on women. You can get STIs from women
each
as well.
other.
So just understand that as you're rubbing things together, be mindful.
Do the mouth, people. There are a lot of young people who think just because you haven't let your virginity go through your vagina does not mean that you are safe from STIs and STDs when you use your mouth.
There was a story. I
Do
don't know
not
the
share
town.
sex toys.
Okay.
Please do not share sex toys. Please do not share sex toys. And please clean them. Clean them well.
I know
Clean them well.
Right. I know we have to wrap this up, but there was a story, and I forgot the town, but we'll look it up in further details, and you can look it up on Google. But obviously, it was like a Christian college, and apparently, they found a way to have some type of pleasure through the armpit, and there was an epidemic of armpit crabs.
What?
Oh,
Yes.
Oh my
Are
god!
you
I
serious?
can picture
I'm
that.
very
I just don't
serious.
want to.
I need a
Because they
visual.
were,
I can picture it.
they get creative.
They
Things that aren't
sticking
real
in
sex.
Mm-hmm.
Those armpit crabs.
Well, you do.
So I just brought up that fun, interesting fact, just so you understand that. Yes,
yeah.
watch what you do
Yeah,
because
the
you can get armpit crabs.
And there's that.
Thank you, Talkinies, for that
Yes,
wonderful visual
armpit
that you
crabs.
gave to us.
I'm saying it's listen.
So, viewers, do not use your armpits for sexual pleasure.
Because you can get armpit crabs.
Who's getting the pleasure?
Listen,
Just the armpit?
not the man.
So
Not
yeah,
girl.
that part, right? Just be honest. That was something
Be
Christina
honest.
was talking about, right? So
my armpit.
listen, I want you guys to know we are living in a new age, and ironically, the numbers are going up and up where people are getting divorced. There are less people in serious relationships. Society has told you and taught you, your religion is showing you and taught you, but the biggest thing that you can do for any person is to be honest about not wanting to be in a monogamous relationship. It does not make you a hoe. It does not make you dirty. I know society like to place these labels, especially on women,
Especially on women now. That part,
right? Especially on women. But if you desire to be with more than one person, and that does not always mean sexual. Hello. We always want to go straight to the sex because I might have sex with him, but I enjoy his conversation and I enjoy going to the movies with him because he don't talk through the movie the whole time, boo. Like,
I just want to watch him.
it's okay. Like, I'm not ready to be in a serious relationship. I want to date. I want to have fun. I want to go out. I want to do me. Please, ladies and gentlemen, that does not always equate to sex. Yeah. So, if you feel like, hey, I don't want to be in a monogamous relationship because I'm not ready to be tied down. I'm not ready to pretend to be somebody's wife.
Nope.
And then there is that, right? So, be honest.
That'll be your next
I want to be in a non-monogamous relationship. If you want to be friends, we can do that. But that does not always mean friends with benefits.
Yes.
Right. And lastly, how to protect yourself moving forward so maybe you won't have to have these hard conversations with your partner. Of course, number one, there's always abstinence.
Yes.
Always. Just don't do it.
Always abstinence. And then we have, what? Condoms? We have
Spermicide.
Male and female condoms.
We have going to get checked
male
by the
and
doctor.
female condoms.
Making sure you're okay. Regularly checkups.
Prevention is key.
You can also do more than
Say that
annual.
again, Nurse Dawn.
Prevention is key.
Yes.
Thank you.
I go to if I have multiple partners, I'm going every 3 months to get checked. I'm not waiting for some symptoms to happen. You don't have to go annually. You should go at the bare minimum annually. But if you are sexually active with multiple partners, you need to go get
Can I just
yourself
add
checked
to that?
more often.
They actually have at-home tests now.
They do.
One of my friends was just doing a demonstration. She was unpackaging it so people can see what it looked like. That you actually can order this package. You can give your little self the little wipe down, put it in, send it away, ship it back, and they'll send you your results back. So if you don't want the embarrassment of going to the doctor to find out, you can do it from the privacy of your own home. It comes with instructions on what to do. And if you do have one of those, what did you say the disease? What kind of disease?
Reportable.
If you do have a reportable disease, they will contact you, and then you give them the same thing as if you were in the office, but it's on the privacy of your own home.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for everybody coming out and giving us some of your own feedback about this topic. Everything was great. Great.
Keep it safe.
Keep yourself safe.
Keep yourself safe.
Stay safe, friends.
This was good.
Listen, thanks for joining. Let me tell you, for this episode on how do we tell our partners that we have an STI. Remember, you can find us on
Instagram,
Facebook,
YouTube,
and all your podcast friendly stations.
for apples and
Spotify.
Androids.
Apple products and Android.
Sorry.
I thought you said
I thought we was recording saying bye.
Okay, we're saying bye now.
and SoundCloud. Thanks for joining us. All right.
Bye.
I'm Shay.
I'm Chris.
And we are, let me tell you, bye everybody. Bye.
She's like, and a minute ago.